I'm still not familiar with the transition in that top song. Yeah, but it was nearly fine.
We're getting better at it. So are we doing now like 1 week StreamYard, 1 week Restream until we're happy with this experiment, or what
I'm using Restream for myself, so I don't know actually. It's a good question. So I like both actually. I like Restream a little bit more. It's just this transition is the only thing which is a little bit heavy to do.
Yeah.
But Restream feels more like it's meant for be really streaming to many places at the same time, while StreamYard is a little bit clunky when it comes to that.
It's meant to have like a dominant streaming side and then a few backups.
And it's San Francisco only, which is I have a very bad connection to StreamYard, while Restream has multiple regions, which makes it more accessible for people like me living on the countryside somewhere in nowhere, right?
So
hello everyone.
Hello Adrian.
Hello Dennis.
Today we're having a little bit more of a builder episode.
It's true.
So for context, I haven't been involved with building this, nor is this a OTJ build. This is OTJ covering what Adrian has been building in his own company. For context, for those of you who might want to know a little bit more in the background, or if you're not watching the show every week to sort of stay in the loop of what's going on in the lore, in the OTJ lore.
We have a lore book.
In the lore book, but we do invite you to subscribe or at least follow one of us to stay in touch or stay up to date on these things if it's interesting enough for you and if it serves you. Adrian, you want to talk about which bar is it?
One of the bars.
One of the bars.
Today we talked about a product, one of the products we were building now on for specifically this one, probably end of this or beginning of this year, actually. But the overall software is actually now ongoing development over 3 years, which is called CloudBar, which is actually an enterprise software we've built, which we use for our business-to-business SaaS solutions. So it is one and the same software. We were talking about that already, how we host it. The architecture is a very flexible architecture, it's very sophisticated because we need to meet a lot of different standards at the same time, while being still a SaaS product. So it's not the easiest way to do. So if you do that for multiple people, you need to have some specifics there. But that is not the big topic for today. The big topic is the version for content creators and leaders, because people know me like a little bit like a person with two heads. So somehow I'm the building person, CTO-like guy having their own company. On the other hand, I'm talking about these stoic leadership ideas and how to lead people and those kind of things. So this is what I often heard from people, is like they don't really know who I am and what I'm actually doing. So with what I earn my money, because I'm just talking mainly on LinkedIn and YouTube about things, right? So sometimes about Next.js, sometimes how to not get fired, sometimes how to be a good senior, these kind of things. And in reality, we're doing a lot of coaching, basically a lot of mentoring and building the stuff ourselves.
Mhm.
And one of those aspects is why we want to build, or the aspects were deciding to build pagebar, which is the topic of today, which is the content and creator abstraction of what we have built with Cloudbar, is that I wanted to get those things together. So I want to have one head. That's the idea. So I want to be the coach for coaches. I want to be coach still. I love to teach people. I love to learn. So that's one of the ways. And I love to build software. And I don't want to split that anymore. So I want to put that into the same direction. It must be aligned. That was really a problem for me, because I was between both worlds, which was one of the reasons I got stuck every now and then. And that is one of the things, and you know my story, I was always going into that direction, then that direction again, always making this ping pong game. And now with pagebar, the goal is to unify that. So we use pagebar ourselves. It is basically the home and the place for content creators, for coaches, and for leaders, or people who see themselves as leaders, thought leaders, that kind of stuff. You have one place where you basically build your platform on. It will guide you from the beginning with a marketing plan. So I will show a intro video in a second. I just need to take a look, because I actually forgot to upload it to Restream. I quickly need to get it because I'm not sure which one it is right now, and I need to quickly download it, but I will show you guys. And the idea is that for example, when we go with our fellowships again, which we want to do starting from next week, which was the original coaching program I had, but I was ditching that a while ago. We will restart using that platform again. We developed that platform, and we will, with all the fellow coaches and creators I know, and we work together, we will invite them very early on in the next days to basically join as an early adopter and even be sponsored by us. So basically getting the platform for free. This is what we actually offer then, in exchange, of course, a little bit for some reviews about that, these kind of things, and of course the feedback which results out of that. So that's the very early strategy we have. It is a long-term thing. We don't need to sell tomorrow 100 licenses or something like that. So we want to build that correctly over the next month, right? So we are now at the starting line. And the reason why I was never talking too much about that is the topic for today, because I want to talk about that. This is not a micro SaaS. This is a solid thing. So we are competing a little bit with Shopify, a little bit with Webflow, a little bit with Standstore and Paperbell at the same time. And this was only possible because we already have built something larger than that before, and we basically reduced that and reshaped that. But that was the point. I was totally underestimating what that actually means, to reshape something into something different, but keep it in the same code base. And I actually learned in the last 6 months where my limits are, where the limits of a small team is actually. So you cannot build everything with a small team, right? Without burning out. And so I have some years of experience, and probably those saved me, but it wasn't a pleasant time, right? I have family, I have other obligations. I was really lacking content, or I was really bad with content in the last year. I really have to say that. Really, let's say, I wasn't very consistent. And that was because I was working in late hours, working till 11 in the evening, these kind of things, and then going up, right? It was like a cycle of work, including weekends. It wasn't very, very, very pleasant. And that time is over right now. So it was already since some weeks. But we saw that we need to optimize. We need to do we need to make sure that stuff actually works, and the existing clients are not with the changes we make, that they don't face some form of issues, right? That's something we need to make sure, because we will see that very, very, very soon today, is the amount of configurations you can do with that type of software is immense. And that is one of those learnings where even when you practice TDD, you get to a limit on some point, especially when you make highly configurable tools. And if you integrate then AI, which is a own world of its own, which you really cannot really test because it's not deterministic, you add some challenges to that project, which you weren't assuming in the beginning. So it's like, all right, it will work because we have done that already for 15 years or 20 years even. And then you face, oh no, you have never done something like that. And so you need to do TDD in order to have a chance. That's more like this. It's not like you have the 100% coverage. If you don't do that, you are done actually before you actually can start. And so that's one of the part of the stories I want to go through. No.
Where should we start? Like, it seems you had a lot of lessons here. It's been, you mentioned a three-year period. Should we start it now, like just before the launch, or was there some like big lessons? Because you were building a product, you like reshape your company, restructure it a little bit, and then out of that, when you cut scope, the result was pagebar. Like, what hat are you wearing? Are you wearing the investor hat, the founder hat, the product hat, the CTO hat?
Like, I think today I'm switching hats. That's what I'm doing right today, right? So that was when I wake up in the morning today, it got clear in my morning meditation when I do journaling every day. It became clear that the time of being the hands-on CTO builder type of person is a little bit over. It's not like I'm not a builder anymore, but I'm not a hands-on builder primarily. So things would change now for me. It's way more about marketing. It's way more about making content again. It is way more about going into interaction with fellow coaches, creators, and leaders, talk with them what they need when they use that, what their experience is, and become the person who is shaping or orchestrating that feedback and asking the right questions, doing something with that, to make that a product worth using for the next years to come. So it's not about how to build features. Yeah, show me the code. We want demo, he says. Just shut up already.
Can you show something? Like you said,
I can show the intro video. That's something I just found it. So let me quickly upload it, and then I show it, and then we have the first thing, and then I actually can show it. Video storage. Is it working like that? Of course, there is no drop zone. Shame on you. It's take one.
Hey, you wanted to use Restream.
Yeah. It's good when you put images into a browser.
Are you uploading the video right now?
I'm uploading the video right now, and then I show it directly when it's uploaded.
Because your link has just deteriorated quite significantly.
That's nice. That's nice. I'm well prepared. This is I was totally in the zone today of preparing for that one, but somehow not here on Restream.
What were some of the lessons you learned most recently regarding the product launch?
That you should have a strategy way more early on than I had. So
like how is that showing up?
I was 1 year ago. I was very much a gut feeling person still. So since then, I had a new coach. I trained a lot with strategies. He was bothering me so much with what I need to write down, what I need to prepare, these kind of things. That changed my mind. I reflected a lot about that, and it's true. So you were one of the first persons who I was in with talking about why I should go on this journey, because first of all, I'm a coach myself, and I'm a builder myself. So maybe build something which fits, because there are solutions on the market you weren't happy with. others weren't happy with. And most people still use Calendly somehow as their main tool for coaching, as a coaching platform, which is not a platform. And so I thought to that point, that's my goal. That's my strategy, to build that. But that's not a strategy. That is a wish. That's a vision, right? That's just a vision. So I would always had a lot of visions. I'm not taking drugs or something like that. I just have the visions because I'm probably a little bit neurodivergent, which means that I actually need discipline to calm down a bit, to follow one path instead of following 20 paths and not finishing anything. And this was where I was. I wasn't finishing a thing a year ago. I did a lot of things. I have a lot of things established, and those basically saved my butt, I could say, because without those, I really had a problem to that time. And those were basically what I built over the years. And that now is the shift towards building something new. This is a totally new journey.
Yeah.
And my problem was to understand that you cannot do a journey like that, which I show because it's processing 100 now. You cannot show that. You cannot show that, or you cannot basically go onto a journey and push through all the ups and downs if you don't have a strategy. And strategy, I was writing about that, but in fact, I never had a strategy before that for myself.
You wanted to build it first.
I wanted to build it first
and then strategize because you saw the strategy, you saw how dominant your strategic personality is, so you could be doing no more building after you start strategizing. So that's the many hats coming in, right?
Yeah. So, for example, I was talking in the middle of the journey this year, right, to some coaches. I was talking about the ideas, and the people told me but this is already existing. And I said, no, it's not already existing. They said, yeah, it is. There's Standstill, there's Pagebar, there's
it exists if you're happy with connecting 4 different things together on your own, like a little bit of Calendly, a little bit of money books, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
That's the point. But I had this vision in my head, and I wasn't able to articulate that into a strategy. That was my point. The point is there is no unified solution which brings you the flexibility you need as a coach, which Webflow would bring you to a degree, with the automation and pack thing like existing other solutions bring you, and that together with the actual marketing plan, which is working for coaches based on experience, not just on some model knowledge, some basic training, but how do we actually do that? How is content creation, streaming? So we had so many discussions in your Telegram group and these kind of things as well. Was it Telegram? I don't know. But
so it was a private support group, accountability group for fellow coaches. We stopped doing it since because
the questions there brought me to the idea. There were so many questions, and they were repeating, and no one asked those questions.
You know what? Maybe we should have that again. That session with that group, and maybe announce what you built and talk about it, because you did basically ghost the group to build something that the group would find very beneficial. Maybe now is the right time to sort of restart it a little bit, because we haven't seen each other for a while.
That's true. But I have a video now. I can show it.
Nice. Let's go.
I hope it works.
I'm
Adrian. I've spent years working with coaches, creators, and leaders, and I've seen one big challenge. Building a professional online presence takes too much time, effort, and money. Even with existing tools, you face a trade-off. You can be quick, but then you lack the options to make it truly yours. Or you get flexibility, but the setup becomes a challenge on its own just to maintain. And that's why we built pagebar. That's why we use it for ourselves. It is the new home for creators, coaches, and leaders. With pagebar, setup is simple. A powerful CMS, an intuitive wizard, and even a built-in shop. With pagebar, you can go from zero to a fully customized online presence in just 15 minutes. I was surprised it was actually 10 minutes for me last time. And just as important, we guide you every step of the way with your own AI-driven marketing plan, guiding you from before, during, and after, built on years of experience and proven practices. And in later stages, it won't just generate content, but actively guide you through your content, your coaching, and your leadership journey. Managing content made simple. And if you work across multiple languages, we translate everything fully automatically. Great for multi-language coaches. Because your workflow matters, we connect seamlessly with tools you already use. Calendly to onboard clients, Stripe to sell products and subscriptions, Unsplash so you never worry about images, and of course paid pages for your courses or the content you want to sell. When you are on the go, your pagebar link card makes it easy to share your brand anytime, anywhere. Are you going onto an in-person event, or you want to sell something during a stream, or you want to just have a mobile version for your LinkedIn landing page? Just create the right link card for the right occasion. And instead of juggling 5 different tools, we combine everything in one place, saving you both time and money. At the end of the day, pagebar isn't just about websites. It's about giving you more freedom to focus on coaching, creating, and connecting with people. Fellow creator, I invite you to start this journey together.
How do I remove that video? This is how.
This is how.
So now you know what it is.
Now let's see the code.
No. Man, it's 200,000 lines of code.
So tell me about that. So this is basically, so you're building a competitor for Mentor Cruise, but Mentor Cruise is run, I think, with like 40 people, and you build it with 5. So like, where was most of the technical challenges?
So we started with the idea that thing started as a web to print e-procurement solution. That was Cloudbar.
So that was B2B to C.
B2B e-commerce, e-procurement mix, right?
Yeah.
So then it became more e-commerce, and then we added a simple CMS system. Then we said it must be in place. And when we finished the first touches on in-place editing, I thought to myself, that would be actually a good thing for coaching pages, right?
Yeah.
That was the start then as well. And then it suddenly became a CMS and a coaching and a shop system. Then it became a Linktree competitor as well, because it can now
you got the parent page. Yeah.
Exactly. It could be now doing the same as Linktree is doing. Then we basically added simple CRM functionality like Calendly integration. Then we added the next step was then AI. And we started to use AI more frequently, and we edited it ourselves. So you have basically a marketing plan which generates your portals. Like you have a coaching variant, you have a podcast variant, but you basically then, like in Webflow, change it completely yourself by changing the elements and use AI even then. So, and that's basically, that was the challenge, because as I said, we didn't have the strategy. So it was a little bit like we found what we actually need to build by feedback on the way. And to have a code base, first of all, to structure your code base and your development environment, continuous delivery, how you actually do your integration, how you do your testing, and how you spread that with your entire team to be able to work under that circumstances. So you all day long, you refactor all day long. So your code changes so often. Yes, we have 200K lines of code, but probably 1 million only this year rotating through. So it's like, it is an ongoing change. So instead of that is a huge shift. We came from agency work. So we built and scaled horizontally. So we built basically the next app to the next app to the next app to the next app. But then the second app was already legacy. So it's the typical thing. This is not the case anymore. So we don't have legacy anymore. So we basically, alone the CMS system with the localization, we have DeepL integrated. So we basically batteries included DeepL Professional, and we have that already in. And so that everything in our system is automatically translated either by DeepL or ChatGPT, or not, OpenAI in this case. And we need to make sure that this always works. And basically every bit you touch must be following these criteria, requirements, and qualities, right? And that was the actual challenge, to get everyone to understand the entire system. So we didn't have clear boundaries between that's CMS. No, the CMS elements were part of the detailed pages of the shopping part as well, right? So the translations, you had let's say 7 or 8 adapters for translation alone, static translations, product descriptions, categories. So if you want to, if you want to change the label of a category, you click on the label of the category to change it. That's easy. So it's not like you have a separated dashboard where you do those kind of things. You do that all in place. So what you see is what you get. So the entire platform is like you would know from Canva, something like that. So you see it, you want to change it. And which means it's a fully integrated, holistic system. And that makes it hard to actually put a junior and say, hey, let's work with me together on that one, because it's hard for me.
Yeah.
And so it's a real challenge. I never had something challenging like that, because you are responsible for such a whole scope of things happen at the same time, which made me using AI mainly as a way of get me information what I have built there. So we have so many, this is the reason why I was talking so much about context files. It came later to me that I need those context files I'm talking about, because otherwise I wouldn't have a chance to understand what I am actually still building.
Yeah, because so to simplify, you were taking the previous success of your organization, and you were pivoting in large part what services it offered as like a print vendor, and you were pivoting that capability and the code base into a different product while still maintaining the old one with a much smaller team. So the challenges you were facing was, we're trying to sort of keep the lights on for the old product because it worked for one client, but it doesn't grow. But then we want to shift everything that is not necessary for that one client and shift it into something else that has better growth potential.
Yeah.
While keeping the lights on, so any kind of work in progress shall not break the old product, and it allows growth for the new people. And there's like a beta program where people are like testing it out, and it's a little bit more rough around the edges.
And of course, I'm Adrian, which means that I need a third product, not only 2, I need 3, of course, right?
Which was Cloudbar.
Which Cloudbar, pagebar, and printbar. So we still now have in cooperation with a web to print client provider who's basically doing the core product for doing the actual printing stuff. So we basically merged this, and we will release it in probably 1 or 2 weeks. It is the same product, like all the aspects are based towards print houses.
Right? So it's almost like you built a platform upon which you've sort of grown 3 different business models, but it's still the same organization, but you could perhaps potentially split off or sell one of them or licensing.
We built the Unreal Engine for SaaS products. That's what we've done for us, actually. Not really.
That's very ambitious. That's hey.
It is, and it is. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So how you said you had some kind of scoping issue, or maybe the strategy, maybe the strategy wasn't clear, so you weren't quite sure like what is good enough to go live. When did you realize that there is like a strategic issue? And like, I imagine there was like a delay between you realizing and actually doing something about it. So what did that look like?
I think when people started to urge me, like coaches or my coach and others, you need to go on market, right? Because there is this notion out there, this narrative that startups need to go very early on the market with their stuff. I was thinking about that, and that was the reason why I was telling everyone we're going online now, but we didn't. And I decided in my meditations, actually literally did that in my meditations, that I realized that you would do that to get feedback. We already get feedback because we have active clients giving us feedback because of the software, right? And I have several people I can show, so I get feedback as well. So it's not like I don't have.
So your network
exactly
from the other products where you were dogfooding the product to them, so you didn't have to do like a mass market launch in order to get product feedback. but because you're isolated, you were also in some way either overfitting onto them, or maybe they weren't paying clients. So there was a disconnect between what do my friends think versus what would my first paying client think if it was free market. And then that sort of created that made iteration early on more efficient, but it also made it a lot easier to delay public go-to-market.
Exactly. And the point is, I was creating on a test platform one tenant after, so we call it tenants. It's basically a multi-tenant system we have built.
I mean, it's a coach. I mean, you don't have a tenant organization. It's just an individual, right?
Exactly. We are the super tenant. So we create a tenant for a coach. So I was creating it for myself. I was going through the wizard and these kind of things, which we have seen shortly in the video. You see that on the website as well. There are multiple videos for that feature. And the point here was that I wasn't happy. So there were so little things like I am as a thought leader, as a coach, I'm not happy. So I don't want to bring that on the market when I'm not happy with that.
Yes,
that was one of the things as well. So I am client myself. So I don't want to have it like that. And that was the reason. Plus that we don't need it to go on market on day one. So it was like a little bit like we had the runway to do that. We decided to polish it a little bit more because we saw in the end as well how hard it is to actually polish something like that.
Yeah.
It is so the variety you can have with that tool is overwhelming. So it is not like Webflow, so you can't build every website you want, but it is not like other competitors where you basically have 10 themes and that's it. So it's a little bit like other CSS files, if you like.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, it's way more. You can build a small business website, you can build a coaching site, you can build a store, you can build just a Linktree thing. So you can build whatever, or a podcast page with an RSS feed of Substack, Spotify, YouTube, or something like that. So depending on what you want to have. And that was the reason why we postponed quite a lot. And that was the reason why I was so silent, because I basically spent my whole day in optimizations, which I've done. And I felt very bad. I really have to say that decision felt like it's a form of resistance.
Yeah.
I don't want to get on market. It made sense, but somehow I felt bad about it because everyone is saying you need to go to market. I was thinking like I don't have unlimited shots to place a product later on.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
And that's what I actually which made me like and I have a name to lose. So I was talking with you now 3 years about how to do things right? And then go to market and mess up is a little bit like, yeah. This guy was talking 3 years about that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that. And I know we need to optimize that thing basically every day in the next 2 years. That's normal, right? But it needs to be ready for a starting point. That's not a finish line. It's a starting line we want to get to. And that's the reason why my entire content will probably be half leadership content. And the other thing is half how I continue to build, which means that we will now be way more open about what we build because it's a form of announcing the next coming things. For example, the CRM system. So we want to really build the best CRM system for coaches. So basically create leads. You do whatever you want with your leads. You can even go to the point where you basically manage your sessions, but you are never pressed into a form. Right? Like others are doing, a little bit like you need to do that. You need to use this tool. You need to use Gmail or something like that. You don't need to. So you still be able to run your own business, but use that tool to either get leads, to present yourself, to make marketing, and later on to create content based on how you are actually. So basically knowledge bases based on coaches. So it's basically the more coaches use, the more we learn. Not the AI, so we are privacy there, but the more we learn and the better these things will become. And that is my new mission. You asked in the beginning, what is my new goal? That is actually my new goal. I want to make this the best software on the market. That is my new goal. That's the reason why I basically align my content as well on this type of point. I will show the. Let me quickly take a look.
What's the? So I've been taking some notes. Who's your closest competitor?
The closest competitors, based on the ideal client profile, right?
Yeah.
It would be Standstore, Pagebar, and maybe Kajabi, but Kajabi is a little bit far away.
Kajabi is more like a LMS system, like more group coaching and learning, like facilitated group learning or student mentor relationship.
More like a mixture of
like a
platform,
course with
circle,
live
and school.
coaching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I would say Standstore. Standstore is very the idea with the AIs they have right now is very similar. I noted that a while ago when I was following the founders of
What about Gumroad?
No, Gumroad is something we integrate. It's on the roadmap. So you basically can add products from Gumroad to your platform, so you don't need to have
like merch or like booklets or something like that. You can then integrate
so you can build your own platform, but so what we don't have is a marketplace where you actually we don't have the market for books, but we can be a place to sell something, right? But that is then in the context of it's your landing page or landing pages, right?
For highlighted items from that store.
So it is not meant to be a replacement for any other software.
You don't have the catalog or inventory or anything or reviews, but you do have like a hero page for the best, for either a lead magnet or for the best product. Like you have the capability to set that up, and that's your recommendation.
Exactly. So it is my recommendation to have a centralized platform, because we have the age of AI now. So we don't search with Google anymore. So what our platform is doing right now, so we go very early into schema.org optimization, which means that everything we do on the platform will be summarized by AI for AI server-side rendered.
Yeah.
So it's the AIs are not interested in how you build this stuff optically, right, or visually. What they want is the information, what's going on. So if you, for example, upload a video or you share a video, we basically get directly and automatically the transcript as a summarize for the AI, that people know what's going on, for example, on your blog page.
Yeah.
In combination with you, and the AI knows that.
But it's not user facing; it's just AI facing.
Well, it's in the source code, of course, but it is not it's not client-side rendered.
Yeah.
So you can see that, you can see what happens there. You can build FAQ pages like that as well for your stuff, which are highly driven by AI. That is basically the FAQ pages are on the roadmap still, but the parts with AI regarding I don't even know how it's called. So it's this very strange SAIO, something like that. Or ASAO, I don't know. But the optimization for
it's basically
query.
AO. I think I saw Jonathan Stark talk about it today, that Jonathan said that 2 years ago Google was number 1, OpenAI was number 22, 1 year ago Google number 1, ChatGPT number 7, and then 3 months ago ChatGPT is now number 3.
It was even number 2 in some.
The referral inbound is basically the AIs are starting to. People are using AIs, or they're not even using AIs to search, but they're asking the AI to do research, and then the AI naturally gravitates towards maybe your page. Then that then creates either a referral, or it uses you as basically as a public MCP, where it might yoink some content from your page and paraphrase it in somebody's answer.
We are so early in that game that actually that we are actually how can I put it, that is all pioneering. We don't even have a name for that. What happens there? People are so insecure of I think even the LLM authors are insecure how it will be looking like in 3 years. So, but what is known is that we need to go onto the data level. So all that is working with data. It is not working with how nice you present your page. That is for the humans, right?
Yeah.
The aspect now is so if you are a good coach, right? And that's part of the marketing plan as well. You are a creator coach, you are a trainer for programmers or something like that. How do you actually market that so that people find you? And the goal is to actually learn how to present yourself and do correct marketing. And I don't mean how to place ads. I mean how to market yourself so that you are recommended by humans and by AI. That is the point here, right? That is what the platform here shall be mastering within the next 3 to 4 months. That is what I'm really paying attention on right now. It is not where it should be, right? It is not like that. We are just launching, but this is my vision. That is actually our vision. And
what about Mentor Cruise? Like, why do you not consider Mentor Cruise a competitor? It's what you've used before. It's what I've used before. I'm currently using as well.
Mentor Cruise is a mentoring platform. So it is more like it's like Gumroad. It is a system which has an internal system. It is not really meant as your primary page.
Yeah, it is like it doesn't function well in that capacity. I agree.
Exactly. So that's the page. If you want to take a look at it, meanwhile, if you want to look, it's available starting from tomorrow.
I'm going to take a quick look. Yeah.
Exactly. So
I'll open it up in the background. Thank you.
Okay.
So because Mentor Cruise, for example, I just received an email. I was just checking it actually, that Mentor Cruise has launched a experiment where they're thinking about launching, helping, facilitating advertising. So usually either AI or Google AdWords spend to get traffic onto your page, to either roll that into your fee, into the platform fee, or whether you set up your own budget. So they are where Mentor Cruise is weakest is as acting as like that hero section, because they are commoditizing the mentors in a way that's similar to other mentoring platforms. It's just like, I'm looking for engineering. I'm looking for a mentor for software engineers, and then you don't really know what you're looking for. So then they just commoditize you. They put you in a bracket, and they say, "Oh, this guy's ex-Google and he's cheap, so let's hire him." And it can quickly like grow into this idea of we are incentivizing people to race to the bottom, to just look for the to contrast most expensive, cheapest, and then find somebody in the middle who has, I don't know, good reviews and like ex Google, ex LinkedIn or something. But that doesn't mean that they're good coaches. It just means that there's a market for like spot coaching. It's like, oh, I need somebody to talk to. I just want help with something. But it usually doesn't grow into a long-term relationship.
First of all, Mentor Cruise doesn't help you at all to become a better coach or mentor or something.
Agreed. So it's just a platform that you can use to sort of connect the dots.
We have thousands of platforms. Yeah. You can use Squarespace. You can, Stefan Schmidt is building his sites with AI, so you don't need just the site, right? Yeah. Especially when you need to do it outbound, so inbound anyway, which means that you need to ask people or place your link in some social media posts or newsletters yourself.
Yes.
So then I think Mentor Cruise is first of all a mentor platform. It's not even a coaching platform. Mm-hmm. So coaching, when I take a look at, so the differentiation in many countries is coaching is a systemized way of training people, while mentoring is just blah blah, right? So just a blah blah.
I mean, like that's how it can.
It is like that.
The way that I'm looking at it, like the really oversimplification, is that mentoring is, I've done something before, I'm good at it, you want to learn that, and I help you learn that, which I'm good at. So I'm transferring my skill to you. That's mentoring.
Yeah, but I would even say it is even not driven directly by you. It is more driven by the questions of the person. So the person must have a problem complex, and you give your advice in that situation for that problem complex. Yeah. It's not like I'm a kung fu trainer and the person wants to learn kung fu.
I'm like an open book, but I'm not the university.
Exactly. That's it. And I think
whereas coaching is more that catered style of, you want to learn something and we're trying to figure out whether learning this is even helpful to you, or whether you're even currently in an environment that enables learning, or whether there are some other things that you need to deal with before you can even learn anything practically, which is what feels a little bit more closer to me, which is what I'm doing with teams. So for me, for example, I'm using anybody who comes to me seeking for a mentor or a coach, and that usually turns from one problem solving, like spot coaching, into like long-term coaching. I use Mentor Cruise for that, because I build it as a monthly subscription. Mm-hmm. And expectations are quite clear, and then I'm just using Calendly plus minus some and my own private Slack for that. So I'm managing most of the stuff, and then Mentor Cruise is like this shop where they can handle, because if the credit card bounces, Mentor Cruise handles that. If there is a reminder for your credit card will expire, Mentor Cruise handles that. Stripe can nowadays handle that, but it's too vendor oriented. Like it's not a nice experience. If you do it with like Stripe pay pages, like it's not the same experience.
But that's one of the points as well. So Stripe is heavily integrated right now in the system of ours, and Jonathan is working hard on that one. And that will be one of the aspects of the CRM system. So the idea of the CRM system is actually that is the active part of your coaching, thought leadership, mentoring as well. It's a little bit like, how do you get people, and how do you manage the people, and how do you actually that's it. How do you get and manage them? And I think that the part you were talking about is covered by that as well, because you asked about why not Mentor Cruise. I think we integrate what Mentor Cruise is doing, just that we are not the marketplace. We are a active guide to actually make you a better person. So if you want to integrate Mentor Cruise, that makes sense.
Because it has goals for what you should be doing for reach out, for marketing, for etc. Right? So it has this sort of facilitated, well, not facilitated, but maybe this like AI-led mentorship, right? Because it might not be unique. It is still pre-prompted to some degree by you and the platform. So most coaches will have the same experience for the most part, plus minus, whatever they're prompting the AI along the way. But it is facilitated. So it's something between a mentor and a personal coach. It's just AI coached with, I imagine, supervision from your team.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? How do you know that the AIs are doing a good job? How do you get feedback on that?
AI. So one thing is using AI or GPTs yourself. That always works quite fine. It is a totally different story to try to bring an AI to do what you want to do. I really say that. That was biggest headaches I had in the last weeks and month. You need to so there are platforms like DigitalOcean offers a platform. We don't use it right now, but it's basically it manages the ideas of knowledge databases, these kind of things. But the problem is how do you actually test that the quality you get, right, is what you need?
Yeah.
So I know some companies who said that it makes sense to have an AI test. So you run a test against an AI and review it with an AI. That can work, but it's very complicated too.
It's very complicated.
Exactly. And it's not really like an inline test. It's more like a regression test. And
it's more like a smoke test. It's more like I can't use one AI to verify the claims of another, but I can look for the obvious problem.
Exactly.
But so I don't score it. It doesn't guarantee that it's really good, but I'm using it as a go, no go in case it's really bad.
Yeah. The biggest issue with AI so far, for example, the marketing plan, is that you basically immediately get to either a context window limit or you get to an extremely slow experience. And this is where we still need to optimize, because when you say, I have a general business idea, and we follow the idea of the one-page marketing plan. It's basically heavily inspired by Ellen Dipp. So before, during, and after, that's the basis, and some special things I learned myself during the time. This is the audit we saw in the video. You see that audit. And one of the points is that you need to make sure that once you generate such a big thing, or there was the first big challenges we saw is when you want to generate something like that, the AI becomes very blurry because it can't remember what it actually did in the beginning. So what you need to do is you need to create a strategy and then create sub-strategies and then review the strategy again, then basically build it together, and then you audit yourself. And that's the weird part, is you use the same AI, the same knowledge database, the same guidelines, and the review says, that's not so good. We need to change that and this. And that is the process you do together with the AI then.
I think what I miss in a lot of we're gonna talk about AI, aren't we?
We will.
I hate when I hate when this happens. When there's like a really interesting conversation and then
We don't need
inevitably
to drift too much. So
and
that's maybe a
inevitably we
topic for
talk
another
about
day,
prompt
right?
engineering and I hate, in some sense I have some ick with prompt engineering because it smells like snake oil. So I'll just say it. What I've been having a lot of success with recently. So I do have those personas in place. Very good. I'm not deviating from that. Persona is awesome. Like pretend to be this and this and this, I found is not as useful anymore. It's more about just telling the AI to like dump out the prompt so that I can use it next time. When I found like a persona that gives consistent results. What I am doing more nowadays, especially through inspiration from Claude's plan mode, and I'm also doing it now with ChatGPT, with ChatGPT 5. The web client, not the pro agentic one, but the web client still works. The agent does this on its own, is to tell it, hey, here's this thing. Here's what I want. Given these criteria, score yourself and iterate on it a few times until it matches a score of 10 and only give me the final product.
That is what we do as well.
And then ChatGPT goes away for a few minutes, which is unusual because you would prefer a fast prompt, and it just goes away. And then it spits out something that is not super terrible in the first go, and then I keep
it will
iterating.
Become good if you add knowledge bases which are meant to direct this into the correct direction.
Yes.
Because LLMs don't really are focused on anything, especially when you just use APIs. They are very general. So you need to train your own models. We don't do that yet, maybe in the future, but right now we're using, of course, open models.
What I learned today, sorry for interrupting you.
No, go ahead.
Right, because I just want to stay with the prompt engineering side. There are two things that are super useful. If you're a ChatGPT user, ChatGPT actually has a platform tool for this, for prompt engineering. Right, so ChatGPT has a prompt tool. I didn't save the link. So it has a prompt optimizer, ChatGPT. It's GPT-5 prompt optimizer. It's a prompt optimizer for GPT-5. It's a platform that openai.com/chat/edit. And it will give you a really just blank page. It looks like Google. It'll give you a blank page where you can give it a prompt, and then it will give you a git diff style visual of here's what I changed, here's what I changed, here's why, here's what I changed, here's why, here's what I changed, here's why. And it'll optimize your prompt, usually in making it longer so you can refine it and then you can make it shorter. That's one thing. The second, and this is free, by the way, but most people don't know about the prompt optimizer. They watch YouTube videos who then claim that they have figured this out, how to do it themselves. Claude also has this kind of tooling, and we've spoken to Paul Hammond on this in the past. This is basically how he's building, and Brian Finster and others who are pioneering this kind of tool. Everybody's using it this way with quite satisfactory results, let's say. The other thing, Claude Code also has this mode. You can ask it to super think. So you can tell it to super think and do this. So it'll spend much more time iterating a few times without committing to the iterations. So it'll do more think, see what this would look like, but don't do any permanent changes to your file system. And then it'll do the thing that you prompted it to do. So it's sort of going into this more agentic space without spinning up an agent. So it retains its sort of conversational quality, which is what you would normally expect with a human being if you're sort of collaborating with them. So it's interesting to see these developments, at least in how we interface with AIs. And it seems you've developed something similar. at least when it comes to the audit, to accountability, to
We're
holding
still
yourself
developing
accountable.
it, so it's a
Yeah.
little bit like it is very early on. It's even tagged as beta, so it's not like expected to be working flawless, because getting such an amount of data structured in JSON and JSON back and do that in multiple things is not
And
that
visualizing it then, and then if there's issues, you iterate on it. And
we started in GPT-4 models, and then we went to GPT-5, and everything went
everything
to
changed.
ashes.
Yeah. And the,
So
and the
it's-
temperature changes, and the API changes, and
That's a little bit. So
Yeah.
it is still early. It is great. So it does make a big difference to have that, actually. But it is a challenge. It's a fun challenge, and I will write about that. I will make content about that. That will be a heavy part, I think, in the next weeks regarding Adrian builds, because I'm very keen to talk about that. There is actually no hidden secret. The hidden secret are the knowledge databases. This is what I'm there, sitting there, writing down, recording sometimes of transcripts, right? The knowledge I actually put in there for creators, for creating videos, LinkedIn content, how to make a stream. Those are knowledge databases I built myself. How to start a marketing plan. What is the strategy? Why do you need a strategy? How often do you need to post? So do you actually need to post every day? This is all my secret sauce, right? So this is basically how I got to my first 500,000 of clients, right? So in euros. This is the story packed in knowledge databases, and that actually makes it interesting, because otherwise, you could just use ChatGPT for that, right? And that's the interesting part. Everything else is not a secret. Of course, we won't make it a open source project, but all in all, I will talk about basically everything we built there technically, because I think it can be interesting. We made several things not very good, right? So
such as
translation, statics and translations, for example, was because we started as a PWA, so it was all client-side rendered. We could even put it in Electron or something like that. And then we moved to server-side rendering, but the entire idea of how we translate things was client-side rendered. So that is not ideal for, let's say, LCP or something like the typical Web Vitals. So we still need to improve Lighthouse scores. That's not great right now. But we will do probably in the next 2 weeks. It's completely fixed and moved to server side, while not breaking CloudBar's enterprise instances, which are still running client only, right? And that is a challenge we have to serve everyone with the same code base, right?
Okay.
And that is a mandatory thing. We cannot do it anyway. So I would like to quickly show the pagebar landing page. 1 second. It is the welcome. I think it is that one. I hope it is that one. It is, but I need to shut down that one, and I need to only show that one. It's okay. Okay. What I quickly want to go through is what we have right now. The roadmap isn't there yet, but it comes in the next day. So that what we see here right now is available probably tomorrow, latest Friday morning. If you want to have it definitely for you, and you were thinking of, hey, do you want to? So let's say you want to be a person who is actively working together with us by using it and giving us feedback. Feel free to contact me on LinkedIn. Then we can provide you something before that, actually. So let's go through that. So it starts with this is one of the first points. It starts with the AI-driven marketing strategy, and the point is, it's not only like. So why do you need a marketing strategy on your website? The reason is you want to build your website. So there must be a way to actually to first of all set up the entire page for you based on that you are coaching your business idea. And that is what we see, I think, in that one here, in that video. You can see that in detail. You basically say, while you're creating your tenant, the marketing plan is the third point before you actually create your pages. Which means that you create your entire strategy as a rough cut first, and then you build your pages, while the AI has already set up the pages in a way which makes sense for you based on a preset you select. And that is one of the interesting aspects here in that moment, right? So then we have basically the AI-powered CMS, which means that everything you have done in the marketing plan will be represented if you ask your AI for help. That is the very first steps we go there. Later on, it even goes into the results. So how many people were actually visiting your landing page, after which campaigns, what have you sold, and what is your strategy? So you get an audit on how a campaign was running. So those will be the things probably end of this year, which will be used by that as well. So you build a page with AI, right? Then you run the page with AI, and you will improve the page together with AI. You can basically turn off the AI and do everything yourself. So it's not like you must use the AI, but I would personally say it's highly recommended. Then we have the aspect of the mobile section, which is so important for me because I was always spinning around. What do I put? Keyboard is extremely loud.
Sorry. There was a mix-up
aggressive typer.
There was a mix-up in a food delivery that I made just now, and I had to quickly change something.
So the point, the mobile link card. So I'm a heavy user of LinkedIn, and there is this LinkedIn link, right? You have in your profile, and everyone is thinking, what do I put in there? Most people say a calendar link, maybe my little landing page I have built. Some put some other platforms there. I don't know, Gumroad, something like that. One of the points is that changes. So sometimes you are focused on, hey, I'm going to that convention. I want to meet a lot of people there because I have a speaker gig. So I want to have a different page there for some days than the time after that where I probably promote my book or something, right?
Yeah.
So those link cards, the idea of that is, first of all, they are mobile first. It is basically the same system. So you have the same CRS system, but it's meant for, let's say, all mobile devices and not really like the large desktop ones. And there are some more widgets which you only use, like links or these kind of things. You see that in the video right now. You can create your links like you know it from tools like Linktree or other tools, right? And then you create for every occasion a different page. So basically, you not only have one Linktree page, you have multiple link cards for every occasion you need, and you link them, and then you take a look how they perform. For example, when I'm on conferences, I want to have one link card which I basically can give.
So that you can share for something conference specific, yeah.
Exactly. So what are my details? You can book me for other. So this is one of my learnings, how I got my keynote speeches. I had one big keynote on CloudFest. Afterwards, I got 3 others just on the floor, and they asked me can you speak at my conference as well? A lot of smaller ones, right? And you need to have something for that. Your media kit, those kind of things, you need to store that. And those are the ideas of link cards. So you have multiple of them based on the tier you actually book, but I think it's at least 3 in the lowest one. So it's all good. And of course, it's all translated. The point is, many people are like Danielle or something like that, who are language trainers, tech language trainers, or you are in Europe and you have 3 languages. In Belgium, for example, right? In Switzerland, you have that issue as well. So you basically do it in your base language, which is your main language. You can define what your base language is, and everything else is automatically after change directly translated to the other languages, but you can change it if you like. So that is actually one thing we are very proud of, because it's really the entire system you can translate. There is not like only the page, everything is fully translated. That's exactly. Then we have a little bit of a calculator. You can play with that one and see what you actually save. Go for the newsletters. Everyone who's reading that, go for the newsletters. That's a good thing. And on that page, we were going to a roadmap version. I will start that starting from Monday, where we actively talk about features, how we plan them, why we plan them, what impact they will have for coaches, creators, and leaders, thought leaders, for example, or YouTubers or something like that, and how we actually develop them and how we roll them out. And the goal is that we actually get the feedback early on before we actually release it, to work with as many people as possible to create the best product on the market. That is what we want to do, and that is what I have learned.
Wait, what's the current? Can we go back to camera mode?
Yeah, of course. I think. Wait a second.
I don't know. You're like, I'm not touching the studio. You're handling the studio. You seem to be. Okay.
I'm
Almost there.
Stop.
There we go.
I've done it.
So-
I'm not bad. Right?
So, what's the best product in the market right now?
I don't think there is a single best product, because when you take a look at most so first of all, let's go to the big ones like Webflow, Shopify. Those are, in theory, if you have the time and money and the people to do that, those are probably the best.
But if I'm in coaching, I
when
wouldn't
you are
go
in
to
coaching
Shopify.
specifically,
Yeah.
Then I don't know Kajabi very good. So I know that there are two very good competitors, which is Standstore and pagebar. Those both are always standing out. They do good content. They provide newsletters. They talk about what they do. And I think the overall package is compelling. I have to say that it's good. Yeah, that's it. Those both are the ones we are looking at when we take a look what others are actually doing.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm looking at Kajabi right now, and it changed a lot since I last looked at it.
Many people had problems with the pricing of Kajabi. That is what I got told. I don't know.
What did you
account.
find?
What did I find? What was it?
Yeah, because I'm looking at Kajabi, and it looks like it's meant as a marketplace, but then the product that you're selling can also be a course or like some kind of facilitated, cohort system. But that is not right. So it makes it very difficult for one coach to sell a coaching subscription where there's only one person. So from what I remember from Kajabi, I used Kajabi when Kajabi was only an LMS, a learning management system, where the primary customer profile was B2B2C, where they were selling to coaching organizations that had multiple coaches or multiple facilitators running breakout groups of multiple cohorts simultaneously of a group course, group coaching, or some kind of masterclass that has an asynchronous component like pre-recorded videos, or maybe the calls are asynchronous and there is a live facilitation session. And ultimately, as a solopreneur, I was always alienated by such platforms because they were either too expensive and didn't really solve any of my problems, or they didn't provide a good enough user experience to scale down to a single person, or even if I'm working with an organization, it didn't really solve any of our problems. Because how I interface, for example, I use MentorCruise for one-on-one coaching. I don't use MentorCruise for team coaching, for example. It's too complicated, right? Because I need to meet with them. I'm on a lot of meetings. I'm not looking at the clock. And I send them an invoice at the end of the month. And it's super simple. And I don't need a platform for that. But I would like a platform for managing, like if I had 5 teams, if I could coach 5 teams, I would like to have that on a platform. The problem is that there is no such thing that makes that scalable, right? Also, I have a very unique way of how I work. So every engagement is bespoke. So every engagement has a different price. Every engagement has different boundaries.
That is not so different, believe me. I'm that far in feedback that that is not unique.
Yeah.
So the most coaches I know have the problem once they have a client, what they actually need to do with their client. Yeah. And it's like, how do I set what I have already done with it? Because they are so specific. It is more like a pricing, so a single hour thing. With that one, there's a group coaching as a retainer. That is a workshop and these kind of things. And this is like an SLA thing that we actually don't do anything, but they can call me. And those kind of things is what we want to do with a CRM system, where it's actually where you get the leads and then you basically manage them. It's the relationship between them, which is extended to the point.
Which makes it difficult because then, speaking as a coach now, one of the challenges that I've been facing is that I don't have a public facing catalog, because I never offer the same group coaching.
You don't need to have that.
And that's my point, right? So because there is no catalog, the pricing is a range. It's never set in stone, which makes it very difficult for somebody who is price sensitive, or who, and teams that I coach are not price sensitive generally, right? They usually have a budget, and then usually we do work the other way around. Organization approaches me and says, I have 10,000. What can we do for 10,000? Or I can spend maybe up to 4K per month. Like, what can we do in that sense, right? And I tell them, look, this and this and this I think are a waste of time. That and that and that will be very difficult to sort of fit into your calendar with your given budget. This and this and this seems to be a good fit, but it doesn't make sense to do all of them at the same time. In what order? Like, because ultimately, what I want from a coaching engagement is, if I'm charging you 4K per month or even 10K per month, I want to be sure that the value that you're getting is worth more than what you're spending every month. So I'm always erring on the side of, if I charge you this much, I'm not sure you're getting the value back. But if I'm lowering the cost and I'm doing the same thing, I'm negotiating against myself, right? So,
but maybe more long term, right? So people,
but maybe more long term, yes. But that's my point. Right? Because I usually tell them that, hey, look, it's very easy to put what we're doing. It's intangible, right? It's intangible, but it's very easy to show that it doesn't work. So that's what I'm always leaning on for coaching, is that if coaching is ineffective, and I always tell them that month 1, there will be a honeymoon period. Whatever we're doing, it'll look like, yeah, it's really great, until we really start working, and then it's like, this is actually uncomfortable. Like, I really need to adjust something. I mean, maybe we did a group coaching. For example, my latest team engagement, the CTO coaching worked well, staff engineer coaching worked well. The group coaching with the engineers didn't arrive well. Like, it was ineffective. It was all over the place. Like, because we saw that there were too many individuals with too many different kinds of unmet needs. And they said that, you know what, let's cancel a lot of what we do in the sprint, like those recurring meetings, to make space, and then let's fill that up with individual one-on-one coaching for everybody. Initially we thought that was a bad idea, and now we sort of we got the feedback and we flipped the script on it, and it's like amazing. It like the initial impact, even this second week now, huge difference. And it's, so I always say this, that when we're coaching, it's very easy to prove that it's ineffective, because you will just say, oh yeah, like nothing is really changing, people are annoyed, they want to spend their time differently, we will stop.
Yeah,
that's easy. What's difficult usually is to tell them, well, we can do this for 2K, 5K, 10K. What's the difference, right? To them, usually that is difficult to grok. And how I spoke a lot about this with Jonathan Stark, is about, well, ultimately, I'm not selling my time, because that's pointless. Because because if I'm selling my time, I need to watch the clock. If I'm watching the clock, it means I will self-censor being able to help you. And maybe the frame that we create initially actually prevents me from being effective, and then I will just give you an ineffective service. And it's just, it starts here and it just goes down. You suffocate the feedback mechanism, because you will not want to deviate from the thing that dictates the billing system, right? So I always say that billing is separate from what it is we're doing, what we need to do in order to be effective. So I usually set up trigger points. I usually say, look, I can deviate from what I offer. I will do stuff for free. You cannot deviate in your expectations. If I say we will do X and Y and Z, you don't deviate. You don't ask for it. If you do ask for it and I provide it, I'll do it for free. I will never balloon costs unexpectedly. And then if that ask becomes recurring, if you see value in it, then we talk about increasing price. And we always look at it from this perspective of, that thing that we agreed on makes sense. but there's room here. We have now optimized the team enough so that there's more breathing room. And now that we shifted the problem, now that we solved some of the cultural problems, the bottleneck has shifted, and now there's space to address that bottleneck. I don't want us to stop what we're already doing. Dennis, can you do this as well? And then this doesn't become more hours. It just becomes, okay, we have this initiative and this, and then we just price it differently. So that then it's not an upgrade, but rather there are like 2 initiatives that I'm handling in my coaching, and I'm billing you for both of them. And you can decide, well, maybe we started doing this after this one, and then maybe you stop paying me for this and I stop doing it, and maybe we'll just continue with that one, and then we replace it with something else.
Okay.
Because it's a much more natural way of productizing the coaching service, depending on what the outcomes of the coaching will be. But the kicker is, it took me a long time as a coach, like a solopreneur coach, to figure this out, is that you usually scope it midway through the engagement.
Yeah.
Where a lot of coaches suffocate themselves or their success, that they stifle their success, if they try to get the scope right into the initial agreement before they sign a contract, before they decide on a price.
Mm-hmm. It's not feedback driven, actually.
It's not feedback driven. So they do their. It's very agile. It's very coaching related. It's very growth oriented, and it's very personal and bespoke.
This is a desperate approach.
But then you do that waterfall thing where you try to get everything done into a contract and then you don't deviate from it. That's what kills most coaching engagements.
I understand, because it's like many journeys into coaching are actually basically driven by money. It's like, I need to earn something. I don't want to go back into employment. I had 2 or small, gigs there, and now I want to scale that. So I need to make sure that I can have enough in the next 6 months, so I can basically have a complete salary and make my living out of that.
Yeah.
And that is the actual, that is the challenge, right? That is, first of all, we want to help that. That's the first thing, because we were able to do that ourselves. And well, we worked together for quite a long time. You do that, others do that. So we know that it's actually working, but it is very heavy. You need to really understand how, first of all, to grow into clients, right?
Yes.
So how to attract them. So we both saw that, how people get into a stream or react to content and then slowly on some point in time become clients later on, small clients.
Yeah, they email us. They want to have a recurring, a single conversation that then becomes like a follow-up every few months, and then they're like
invited maybe to conference. Then maybe you make a little speaker gig, and then one.
Yeah, I also got a I went to How to Web. We keep showing that image. That was also from a coaching engagement, and then we create content around that. We productize the content, then we productize something from the feedback mechanism. We productize some of the like big aha moments, and then that turns into more coaching engagements, right? So it's always evolving, and even my contracts, for example, they keep evolving. About there was a mistake here, like that prevents me from being successful. Let's put that into the contract. Same thing for illness, or same thing for example, I'm coaching a CTO. What happens if the CTO gets fired? Am I loyal to the company or am I loyal to the CTO?
Yeah,
because I'm building a relationship. Like, who am I? And sometimes it's not clear. It's like, oh, we have a new CTO now. You're coaching him, and I'm like, no.
As a coach, this is what I say. As a coach, you should have a loyalty to the mission of the company.
Exactly.
And if you don't have that, you are not a good coach.
Exactly.
Because you are basically rigged from the start on. That's it. So you're a corrupt coach in that moment. So if a CTO comes to you and tells you, I have a problem with my devs, right? They are not performing. I'm holy, they are not. So in that moment, already, if you can choose to, lick a little bit here, lick a little bit there, and get some money, and then go away because nothing changed, right?
Yeah,
or you go there and you be a person who is able to communicate correctly. You have learned the skills. You know what you need to say in that moment. You have built up the confidence. You have built up the leadership skills in that moment to really tell, I understand what's going on. You are part of the reason, a major part of the reason. The others maybe as well, but we need to get that done together. We need to go together on a journey towards point B. We are at A now, but we need to. how you work and the
and I even saw this, when I received feedback on negative feedback, that something it was too much pressure. Like we were coaching, it was too much. People were like, this is new and heavy, and whoa, we have so many problems and we're trying to deal with all of them at the same time. That even the person running the mission and me aligning myself with the mission, even they were falling into this trap of, oh yeah, there's like some monthly component to this, and there's some cadence to this, and there's a go and no go sign, and some like initial goals that we put in the contract. Even they, when they gave me feedback, they were like, hey Dennis, we received some mixed feedback on this and this and this. Let's do something else. Let's try to I would like us to do something else, something different, and improve on this next month.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening to that. I'm like, next month? What do you mean next month? Today. We're changing it today. Like, if we receive mixed feedback, we're not waiting for next month. Like, what? Am I going to do the thing that keeps creating mixed feedback for what? Another 2 weeks? No, today. And they were like, okay. Like, that's odd, right? Like in their mind, there was these like in a year, these like 12 cycles, and we run these like 12 experiments, and they misinterpret this idea that there is this ongoing element that's going on that is everyday support,
mm-hmm.
and it is completely unrelated. It is completely unrelated to the billing cycle. Right? Like you don't have to wait for the next billing cycle for us to make a change in the coaching engagement. But I see how they're just wired to think that way from conferences, from some kind of mentorship platforms, from agile coaches or people who facilitate Scrum Masters right? So that they're used to like sort of having this sort of like this mixed, rough 2-week, 4-week cadence to things, and they're sort of too slow to react to feedback. And for me as a coach, it's super important to just be extremely flexible. To be extremely flexible and say, okay, feedback arrived, it's not working. Okay, we're changing it immediately. Tomorrow morning, I have a meeting booked. I want to put it into action there immediately. And we will deviate from the initial plan, and our goalposts will change, and our qualitative metrics will change, and we will do the best that we can with the baseline that we already measured.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we are now sort of going a little bit off topic. This is a cool conversation, but we went into this tangent with prompt engineering, and we went into a tangent with now coaching and what coaching looks like. And I feel like I'm stealing the show regarding what you wanted to do with pagebar.
So let's
wrap.
What?
Let's wrap.
No, maybe I show, because Nick was complaining that I actually don't demo anything, so I have made my pitch. But I haven't demo, so a little bit of a demo, because the interesting part is
I do have a hard stop in 4 minutes though.
It's so good. We get that done.
Okay,
so
thank you.
We have that one here. So that's the landing page, right? So I'm logged in now. So basically, I have a little bit more options here, and I have a little bit of basically a cocktail glass, which is the toolbar. So if I open the toolbar, I suddenly have a lot of funny things here. So I can basically add new content blocks, like from Element or something like that.
Yeah.
I can basically say, for example, let's add a little bit of a new content block down here, which would be then that one here. Now,
you don't crash on the live demo.
No. And then basically going to Unsplash, for example, and saying I want to have a little bit of a microphone image. Put it there. All attribution is handled for you, so you basically.
I see. You're doing a demo, because what we did earlier was this, but it was pre-recorded. So
that was
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can basically then create whatever you need there. You can say, okay, I want to have a headline thing here. I want to save that one. So that can now everyone see on the website. So it's basically published, right? Well, I will, of course, delete it. You can add your CTA button. You can basically change whatever you want wherever you are right now. So that's the idea. So you don't need to go anywhere else. The point is, I would still, you can modify that later with AI. This is not set up for that platform.
Yeah, so it's beta, so let's not, so if it's not done, let's not demo it.
Exactly. Yeah. So then I quickly remove that one. You can basically add to any time new pages. So you can basically say what pages I have, link page, regular page.
Do you maybe have some documentation on, like, for example, I'm now thinking that maybe we could, that coaching group that we are running on Telegram?
That is right now in development. It's the FAQ section.
Yes, because I'm thinking of maybe moving that to this kind of platform. And maybe we can give that place a sort of like at least a homepage so that we know when the next meeting is or something like that.
We can do that. That's totally fine, right? So we can basically, I don't know if that platform here is set up for shop, but you can basically add new categories, which I shouldn't do right now on this page here. But I can show that in the next slide. So basically have an entire shop system there built in as well. You can basically set up everything regarding that page. So you
the
can
theming, the branding, the colors, the fonts. Yeah. Similar to how Substack and sort of Canva are handling
everything you need to do regarding that around. You have the marketing plan. This one here. That's the marketing plan for pagebar. Just generated it right now. I made a little bit of an audit. I need to work on that because the audit of my plan is currently, I have strength, but I'm not very good in engagement, and my content strategy is not existing. So I get some ideas here, what I can basically work on. I can implement things into my plan. I can create action plans here. But I will show that a little bit later on.
So since this is AI recommended and AI driven, what grounds it in reality? Like what? Hang on, I'm just gonna put the freaking cameras on the screen so that we can. What grounds the AI in reality? Like, do I tick it that it's okay? Or
you are the person in the end. So that's the audit. So you can to every time basically go into a field, and the idea is that the generative stuff in the beginning is just for the beginning. So to create your page, but then you should stay with your platform to actually improve that plan for quite a while, right? So you can basically to every time ask the AI about specific fields. Like here, you can basically talk with the AI about it. Chatbot is not yet ready, but it will help you as well. It will feed back the things you have learned or you have asked over time. And the point is that you actually basically go through the idea of the before, right? The during should become here, right? And the after. So you should learn how those things are work, and you should optimize it. And from that point on, that is the core strategy. And the goal should be to actually get higher scores, because what actually makes the audit for that plan, which is down here, is the knowledge database of ours, right? It is basically growing every day by several entries.
I see you have a very, I do need to jump off, just final question. I see you have a very favorable pricing strategy. Like, it's very cheap for a solopreneur. Is the pricing sustainable for you?
Yeah.
Or is this like a growth strategy and you will need to increase prices or have like some kind of
like every SaaS, we will see after a year how it's actually working out. Of course, we need to do that. So that's reality. But yes, we can. So we have extremely, let's say, we have put a lot of time into optimizing the infrastructure and these kind of things. So basically creating a new tenant is basically a logical entry in a very large microservice system, which makes it, this is the cloud-bar aspect of the beginning, which was meant for enterprises. So we can sustain that. Yeah. So the idea is to basically grow with thousands of coaches in the next years. Not only coaches, creators, YouTubers, thought leaders, basically everyone who's doing anything on any social platform, right? That's our goal.
Cool. I was skeptical at first, but now seeing this, I will give this a go. Let's think on that offline. I do have to jump now.
Yeah, that's good.
Adrian and our guests who are still with us, if you're here after 1 hour and a half, you're one of us. So thank you so much. Even if you're watching the recording and you skipped ahead and you're cheating a little bit. If you want to sign up or check out pagebar, the link and the QR code are on the site.
If you want to have early access, get to me by LinkedIn.
Yeah,
right? It will be available in the next 2 days. Follow my content. You will see the announcement.
You can reach out to us on LinkedIn. It's Denis Čahuk and Adrian Stanek. And we can... Did I pronounce your surname correctly, or is it Stanek?
I don't know. call it just we
How do you
call
say
it
it?
here Stanek.
You
Actually,
call it Stanek? Okay.
it's very German, but it's not
Okay.
a German name.
Which is why I'm asking. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. I have to jump to dinner now because people are waiting for me.
Thanks for having the conversation. Thank you everyone for the nice comments and the 5 PMs I got right now.
Very good.
So I need to work through them. Thank you very much. We'll talk a lot more about pagebar in the next coming days. Have a nice dinner right now. Dinner time. Have a nice dinner time, everyone. Thanks a lot.